What's up, you guys? It's us again, back with another vlog review. Okay, so today, as I said, we'll be discussing Hamlet. It was full of ambiguities. It was full of ambiguities where you could choose and think how certain situations played out. For example, the poison cup. That's the thing we'll be discussing first. When we watched each scene from different movies, like that specific scene of the poison cup from each movie, I don't know if it was each movie, but we watched it from 3 different movies. I thought it was so interesting because there was so much like conspiracy, I guess, and like an ambiguity behind it, because every director got to play out how they thought it was playing out, because Shakespeare never really specified in the play how everything in that situation played out and what Gertrude really did and what her intentions really were.
So there was like a lot of like
different interpretations of that scene. So let's talk about the first one. In the Mel Gibson version, Gertrude seems very playful, happy, but ditzy and oblivious to the poison in the cup. She seems unaware of what's going on. This may be all an act, though, and she just really wanted to kill herself, because I don't think she was living a very good life. Anyways. She just might have wanted to, like, kill herself without it being seen as a sin, because, you know, in that time, killing yourself was seen as a sin. We'll talk about that in a minute. She tells the king, "I pray you forgive me," but she kind of says it in, like a joking way. She's like, "Oh, like, I pray you forgive me." So yeah, it just kind of seemed like, I don't really care if you forgive me or not. I'm going to kill myself anyways, you know?
Yeah, and she was doing it like she was, like, way too happy about it. Even if she didn't know that there was poison in the cup, like, they kind of, like, portrayed it that way, that she didn't know, but she could have, so she could have been doing it.
Because the book didn't really specify how she was feeling or what she was really doing.
Yeah.
So that's why each director of each different Shakespeare Hamlet movie had a different interpretation of the situation. She could have been just putting up an act. She just knew the cup was poisoned and simply just wanted to die. So that one was kind of more focused on she knew, but she was acting like she didn't know what was in the cup just because she wanted to kill herself. But we'll move on to the next one. In the Laurence Olivier adaptation, she acts like she wants to die. She wants to willingly. Her point is obvious here. She knows what's in the cup, and she's determined to die. Her body language also explains it all, too. She keeps looking at the cup, and she looks mad, upset, and not really enjoying herself. Sorry, I got lost. Her point is obvious here. She knows what's in the cup, and she's determined to die. Her body language explains it all, too. She keeps looking at the cup, she's pointing at the cup, she kind of just looks like mad. She's not really enjoying herself. You can just tell by her body language that she knows what's in the cup. She knows it's poisoned. She's gonna drink it because she literally just wants to peace out.
When I say in this movie that she is looking depressed and looking at the cup and looking like she's gonna kill herself the whole time, I'm being serious. She looked at the cup like it was like the end of the Notebook, okay?
And for the last version that we looked at, the David Tennant version, it seems as if Gertrude knows that the cup is poisoned, and she just wants to protect Hamlet from drinking it, because Hamlet, that's basically like his refresher, like during the fight that he's fighting Laertes, that's his drink, and I think she knew it was poisoned, so she wanted to drink it so that he didn't have to die. As much as she knew her son was crazy and he had different things going on up here, she still wanted to protect him because that is her son, right? So I think she just wanted to drink it to protect him. And it's just really interesting to watch all of these scenes and then go back in the book and be like, wow, that could have been interpreted that way or this way or that way. Because there's so many, like, there's so much conspiracy behind it. You don't really know what happens. Like, you know that Gertrude drinks from the cup, but does she know it's poison? Why is she drinking it?
You don't know the reason.
Yeah, which is really cool, because everyone gets to see it differently. So, yeah, really enjoyed that part.
And, like, we talked about that in class, too, of, like, how did we see it? And then we watched the movie versions, because, like, each movie version had, like, a different, like, interpretation of it, which I like, too, because, like, you can see that people think different things.
Mm-hmm. Which is really cool. I thought it was really cool to, like, experience it, like, that way, you know? One thing that we're going to talk about, too, I was talking about how Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare play of all time. I don't know, I just really liked it, and I find that Macbeth and Hamlet can be seen as similar because it was kind of like, oh, I want, like, there's, like, this, like, sort of quest for redemption and becoming king, and, I don't know, it's just very similar as, like, the need to be king, or the need for power, and the greed is just so deep in both books, or plays, sorry, that I thought they were not similar, but they can be seen as similar.
For the first ambiguity, we're talking about Claudius's timing in the play. It starts off, I think he had bad timing for the entire play, just from starting off by, like, killing the king and immediately marrying Hamlet's mom.
So it kind of made, like, a weird, like, relationship stance, too, because, like,
yeah,
Hamlet's uncle was now his dad, and Gertrude's brother-in-law was now her husband, and it was just weird timing overall.
Yeah, and I feel like even back then, like, that might have been a normal thing, but not that quick. Like, and that means that Hamlet would have gone through, like, as much, like, trauma as he already is going through. It just adds more stress onto what he's already doing.
Going through, and
Yeah.
Okay, so for the second conspiracy or ambiguity... For the second conspiracy or ambiguity, we're going to talk about Hamlet's madness or craziness or whatever was going on up in his head.
And we have different opinions on this.
Yeah, I think we do, which, that's okay. There's different interpretations of the book, right? So, like, everyone can see certain situations or certain scenes or certain acts differently, because Shakespeare really never went in depth of...
like, if it was real or not.
Yeah. So... one reason why he could have went crazy is Polonius. One reason why he could have went crazy is actually Polonius's. One reason why he could have went crazy is actually Polonius's opinion. He says in the play that he thinks Hamlet's kind of going crazy because he loves Ophelia so much, but Ophelia cut off so much contact with him because people didn't want them together. And
yeah, because people didn't want them together because,
she wasn't allowed to sleep with a man before marriage because it would make her basically damaged goods.
And they think that they were sleeping together.
Their relationship was never actually... like, their sexual relationship, I guess, was never really spoken about in the play.
Okay.
Maybe because it wasn't something that they talked about back then.
Either it wasn't something that they talked about or it just didn't happen. We don't know.
Yeah, I guess some people can assume that they did, some people can assume that they didn't. No problem. I think, honestly, that he was crazy, and I don't know if that was just, like, Shakespeare, like, trying to, like, pull us under to, like, make us not feel bad for him, but kind of sympathize with him, and, think that he genuinely was crazy because of all the stuff that was going on in his life. So, but I definitely do see your point of view too, where, like, maybe he wasn't crazy, maybe he was acting all of this out.
I just think because, like, there were so many times in the play where he would say, like, oh, no, I'm not actually crazy. And when he was talking to his father the first time when he saw his ghost, he told him to act crazy. Mm-hmm. He told him to act, like, not himself.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
That's true, yeah. But
so,
do you think he would have acted crazy to the point where, like, even he knew what his uncle was capable of, and even his uncle/dad would send him off to England to get killed and basically almost lose his life because he was acting crazy and killing Polonius?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that could go on either opinion, you know? So the next one is Ophelia's death, which I thought was interesting because, I don't know, I feel like there's so many different ways to view it because... after she found out her father was killed,
she wasn't herself anymore because
she was singing.
Yeah.
Hey, naughty, naughty, hey, naughty, naughty, non. Like, I don't even know what that is, but, like, basically, after her father died, she kind of was reeling off the hook.
She was in shock, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Or she was just like, wow, like, my dad's dead, like, I don't know what to do. And Laertes was not back yet until he was back and then found out everything.
Yeah, and he found out late, too.
Mm-hmm. And then some people like to say she drowned herself while singing, and some people like to say that she was just so crazy that she didn't really know what was going on, but I think she did kill herself.
I think she knew what was going on because even if you're in shock, you're still going to be like, oh, I can't breathe.
Yeah, I think she was just so sad.
I think that she didn't care at that point.
She just wanted to be with her father, you know, like, But, yeah, so I definitely do think it was suicide,
It's hard to explain, because there's a lot of different things that you could take from it, same with, like, the poison in the cup.
Mm-hmm.
But
she was, like, alive, she was singing, like, she was aware.
Yeah, and I think that it was hard to, like, interpret through the play, but how they did it in the movie is that she was killing herself.
Yeah. Because even at the funeral, the priest didn't really want to give her a proper burial or ceremony because she made a sin of killing herself. So it basically says it in the book that she did kill herself. Like, if the priest is like, I don't want to give her a proper burial, like, she killed herself, that's a sin. I don't do that. Like, it kind of points towards more suicide.
We're gonna talk about Ophelia's feelings for Hamlet and then Hamlet's feelings back for Ophelia. I think that Ophelia was, like, head over heels in love with Hamlet. I think she was very, like, she was always there for him, and, like, even when he was crazy, she was still like, oh, like, I love you, like, you know.
The sewing room incident.
And he was very, like, mean to her in some scenes.
I think she still cared about him, but do I think she really loved him? No.
I think she always had love for him.
That's a good way of putting it, because there's a huge difference of being, like, in love with someone and then having, like, love for someone.
Yeah, so, like, Ophelia at the beginning was, like, in love with Hamlet. Like, everything she did was for him. Everything they did together was, like, out of love, basically. And then Hamlet went crazy or acted crazy, how you take it, like, how you think about that. But, he says to her, like, oh, I never loved you. But I think he did. I think that was part of, like...
I don't know, like, he was kind of, like...
He was very mean to her.
Mentally and, like, verbally abusive. We still see in men today. Like, when he tells her to go to a nunnery, like, that's basically calling her a whore. Like, hey, you're a whore. Go to a brothel. But, I would think, like... And, like, that's the problem, too. Which is, like, when I read this scene, I was just, like...
It's not a good thing to do. It's not something that someone, like, a normal person would do.
But that's the thing, is I think she was, like... Oh, even though he's mean to me, like, he still loves me, or, like, he still has love for me.
I think that, let's say this scene happened today. I mean, of course, it wouldn't be exactly the same, but you would just call that, like, an abusive relationship, like a mentally, and he, like, verbally abuses her. But I think she just wants to help him, and, like, it depends on how you take how Hamlet is acting. So, like, let's say you said that Hamlet was actually crazy. He is probably stressed out, and that's the only way. Like, she was probably, like, I mean, I don't want to say she was, like, bothering him, but, like, she was being very clingy, and if he's actually crazy, like, you're gonna want to push them away at some point, but maybe not in that way.
Yeah, I think he was definitely mean to her, but I think she just wanted to help him, and I think she just cared about him.
Yeah,
which is
think
sad.
If someone thinks that Hamlet is actually crazy, I think that how it could be taken was she was trying to help him, but it came off as, like, clingy to Hamlet, maybe, and that's how that's why he pushed her away.
But I really enjoyed the book was that there were so many ways you could take literally each scene, you know? I don't know, I feel like that's what really, like, grabs in a reader or a viewer of the play, or...
Yeah, it's, you know what, it's a really confusing play. And, like, the reason, like, for example, like, I thought he was acting crazy because he kept saying that he's not crazy. But, like I said, that's something that a crazy person says. Like, they would deny that they're crazy. So it depends on, like, how you can, like, talk off of it. Like, how much proof you can get off of what you think that Hamlet is acting like. So, when it comes back to if he loves Ophelia or not, I think he does. But I think that either he's acting crazy and doesn't want to get caught, or is crazy, and like, Ophelia is either gonna have to deal with that, or she's just gonna have to, like, end things, because it's honestly, like, if he's actually crazy, it's up to her, basically, because, like, you can't just go around saying, oh, I don't love you, like,
but,
go
like,
to the brothel, like...
or when he was like, oh, like, I love you, I don't love you, yeah, you're a whore, go off to the nunnery, like...
Yeah, so it's really, like, how you take it, right?
Yeah. So. Anyways, that's it for us today. That was our vlog review of Hamlet. It was a really good play, actually. Like, I really enjoyed it. I was a little nervous at first, because I always knew that I struggled with reading
And
the Shakespeare language, the Elizabethan era language, but it was actually really interesting, and I really liked it because I love conspiracies. Like, I think we both do. We love conspiracies, and we love not knowing, but like different ways of knowing what happened.
Yeah, like I like figuring out what it could be.
Like a puzzle.
Be.
It's like a puzzle,
I mean, I would prefer to get an answer out of it and not just think about it the whole time, but, you know, just thinking, like, you know, is Hamlet crazy? Is he acting crazy? Is he, you know, does he love Ophelia? Does he not? Like, you know.
It was really interesting, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad that it wasn't as boring as Fifth Business. But
Tea!
No, it actually, like, there were, like, a lot of plot points that you can go off of, and that's why.
Really interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it for us today. Bye, guys.
Oh my god.